if America is so bad that some people sell it as being so bad, why do people keep coming here? What is so, like, okay, when we were in Iran, we had options. People were going to Spain. Some were going to Australia. Some were going to this. Only because they couldn't make it to America. But everybody's number one on the list was to come to America. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they wanted to go anywhere else. Again, going back, that is my biggest argument, where if America is so bad, if capitalism is so bad and abusive, why do so many people who are actually leaving an abusive environment are willing to come to a place that offers capitalism, where a person who has not got the last name of Mitt Romney, his last name is Bet David, my parents haven't given me a penny. Last time I got an allowance, I was 14 years old. I'm not an allowance. I don't even know what allowance is, to be honest. I'm not even being sarcastic. I don't know what an allowance is, right? And so I come up here, I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit if you give me allowance. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm going to bring my Middle Eastern work ethic, and I'm banking on something's good going to happen to me. I don't have the money to go to school. I don't have the grades to go to school. Maybe I'm going to go in the military, get my act together, be away from some of these guys that are doing drugs, because a lot of my friends were, ecstasy, pot. They were selling. They were done. Like, I'm just got to get away from this. So I go into the military, and then I come out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to. I was a bodybuilder. I'm going to learn how to sell. This is my way out. So again, for me, it goes back to the same thing. If socialism or social democracy is so amazing, why don't people go to those countries first before they come here?
Well, so I would say, number one, there is a refugee crisis in a lot of those countries. There are people kind of pouring into those countries. But number two, I think we're talking a little bit past each other, because I wouldn't say America's bad. Of course I wouldn't. I'm here. I love this country, right? The question is, I think it's just the wrong conversation to have.
You're not a capitalism guy. You're not a supporter.
Well, social democracy harnesses the best aspects of capitalism. Okay. So there is an element.
So maybe unpack the difference between the two.
Sure. So there's socialism, there's democratic socialism, and there's social democracy. Social democracy is a hybrid of capitalism and socialism, where basically you take the best aspects of capitalism, the best aspects of socialism, and you have this mixed system, which in theory would yield the best results. And the reason why I believe in that is because I think there's a tremendous amount of empirical evidence to those ends. So, like, for example, they do this study every couple of years, this Commonwealth Fund study, where they look into the healthcare systems of basically, a lot of the developed countries, 11 of the developed countries. And when they do that, we always rank, the U.S. ranks 11th out of 11. So we're doing worst on that front. So now when it comes to the issue of capitalism, look, I mean, I can make the argument for you here. When you look at, for example, the cars that came out of the Soviet Union, they were abysmal. They were made by one government agency. There was no competition, so you didn't get a better product at a lower price. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, which is why I believe in something like social democracy, because you can still have, particularly when it comes to consumer goods, I think it's good to have competition. I think it's good to try to get the best price with the best product and compete. In fact, I believe in, and I'm curious if you would agree with this, I think we really need to start doing antitrust action again. I think we should do anti-monopoly stuff again, because when a business becomes a monopoly, what do you get? Higher prices, worse product. And so you need to break them up, just like Teddy Roosevelt did, to get it to the point where you have more competition and you can harness the best aspects of capitalism. So when you talk about that, so I believe in that, while at the same time I also believe in taking care of the basics. So in other words, they have like sectoral bargaining in a lot of the Scandinavian countries. That means you set wages. The union negotiates with management and you set wages kind of across an entire industry. I think that's a good idea because it helps working people out more. I believe in, like I said, universal healthcare, universal education, or trade school. You should have your choice. And I think they do that in Germany. They give you an option. You want to go to trade school or you want to go to college. I just hate this notion that in this country, some people come out of college and they're $80,000 in debt and they're like, well, what the fuck do I do now? And I can't even pay this back. And then they got to go take a job where they're way overqualified to even take that job. I think that's fucked up. I just think there shouldn't be such a thing as medical debt or school debt. And I don't think these ideas are all that radical. I think most people would agree with this, even people who would consider themselves capitalists.
So with all the craziness taking place, I believe future looks bright. If you believe future looks bright, get your latest Future Looks Bright hat of Valuetainment. It says Future Looks Bright here, Future Looks Bright here. We got them in white, we got them in black, we got them in red. Our black on black sold out. These are about to sell out. If you haven't ordered one yet, we had a person in Michigan, bought one, then he bought three. Then when those three people weren't in the office, they had to order 58 of them because people wanted the Future Looks Bright hat, especially during times like this, because ain't nobody saying Future Looks Bright. To order your Future Looks Bright hat, click over here. And to watch the entire podcast, click here. Take care, everybody.